Hello, everyone. Welcome to the AI Monetization Podcast. I'm Binny, the co-founder of Project Pro. As you know, we speak with business leaders and AI practitioners in the industry to understand what tangible business impact AI is having. Today, we're going to be focused on how AI is impacting skilling, learning, development, and content development or instruction design as it applies to learning. And there's no one better for that than Maryna. Maryna is head of learning and development at DataArt. DataArt is a global software engineering firm with over 5,000 team members, focused on providing, customized data analytics and AI solutions to companies. Previously, Maryna was in a similar role, focused on content development competency center as a lead at EPAM Systems, another very large global software engineering firm. And previously, Maryna spent a few years at the United Nations. Thank you for taking time to do this, and welcome to this show, Maryna.
Yeah, an excellent introduction, Binny. Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here.
Absolutely. To begin with, Maryna, I mean, you have a very interesting role where in this time of change, especially for software developers, you lead L&D for a company with thousands of software developers in it. Could you help us understand what is your mandate and what are your priorities in that role?
Sure. Well, at the end of the day, my mandate is quite simple to help the business achieve its goals. And that's true for any global head of L&D if you ask them. But the real question is, how do you do that, right? So first, by understanding the company's goals. And second, by aligning learning efforts with those goals and using the best practices in our talent development field.
Mm-hmm.
In practice, that alignment happens in several ways. I'm, for instance, a part of a member of cross-functional committees, a number of them. I join monthly business reviews. I stay in close touch with the company leadership. And this gives me visibility into what our evolving priorities are. And let's adjust our learning strategy accordingly. Just to give an example, not to speak in general terms. For instance, this year, our two biggest priorities are AI and data. No surprise here, definitely.
Yeah.
So let's take AI as an example. DataArt has publicly committed $100 million to strengthen our data and AI capabilities. And this is a big statement. And behind it is a clear business need to respond to growing client demand for such things. And then we take it and translate this into the L&D goals, which are, for instance, first, to support our internal efficiency by enabling colleagues to use Gen AI tools confidently and responsibly. Second, of course, to upskill engineers in AI-assisted software development. And finally, in general, equipping our teams with the skills necessary to build cutting-edge AI solutions that solve real client problems. So that was the first part of my response about aligning with the business needs. And then there is the second part, using best talent development practices in the field to make this alignment happen. And in practice, it can be anything from launching self-paced courses, an AI learning hub, internal one, or even creating an agentic AI assistant that supports learning and professional development needs of our colleagues. So to cut the long story short, it's all about turning business strategy into learning action.
Very interesting.
Briefly about
Very interesting.
our mandate. Yeah.
Okay. And you mentioned a couple of very interesting things, which is the AI Learning Hub and the Agentic Assistant. Could you maybe just help us understand a little more about what is in the AI Learning Hub, who uses it, and the Agentic Assistant, who uses it, and what goals does it help achieve?
Okay, those are two big questions.
Okay.
For instance, with an AI learning assistant,
Yeah.
that's the MVP we are working on right
Mhm.
now.
Mhm.
And if to speak about AI in learning, right,
Mhm.
we actually have seen it before the Gen AI hype. For instance,
Mhm.
those customized course recommendations that you get on different learning platforms, that
Yeah.
was AI already, right?
Mhm.
So now we're seeing a bit more advanced version
Mhm.
of it. This I now learning paths, for example.
Mhm.
But the problem is that the way I see it is that they usually consist of quite formal training. It's usually a
Mhm.
series of video courses, for example, or recommended YouTube videos, TED Talks,
Mhm.
or articles, and maybe a series of instructor-led training.
Mhm.
And this, which is fine, but that's not what we want to see in the AI era, right?
Mhm.
So, what we are working on right now is on creating the MVP, as I said, of AI learning agent for our
Mhm.
colleagues
Mhm.
that is proactive because it's an agent, right? And
Mhm.
that suggests and compiles a comprehensive learning and development experience. For
Mhm.
example, when a colleague asks such question as, I don't know where to move next, recommend something, or with this such general request, right? So the AI agent um, on the one hand, analyzes information about a colleague, everything we have,
Mhm.
skills in their profile, their
Mhm.
learning history, their qualifications, performance reviews, and
Mhm.
metrics, and so on the one hand.
Mhm.
On
Mhm.
the other hand, uh, this AI agent takes the information about our business needs,
Mhm.
what qualifications are in demand, what tech stacks, in what regions, and so on.
Mhm.
And the agent kind of marries this information and comes up with a plan. And
Mhm.
if this is a very generic question from a colleague's side, then
Mhm.
it will not be, again, a series of recommended self paced courses. The first advice, the first point on this list will be to, for instance, to use our coaching program. This is the best way to know where to move next, what you want. Or it can be a recommendation to approach our professional orientation service that we have.
Mhm.
And then, yes, a series of other relevant steps, learning and
Mhm.
development steps. If a colleague, for
Mhm.
instance, wants to move to a more senior role, a management role, then the recommendation might be to be more visible, to be more active, to be a speaker at our
Mhm.
IT talks, internal,
Mhm.
external ones.
Mhm.
And there will be recommendations how to become such a speaker, what opportunities we as a company offer in such cases,
Mhm.
and other things. And what's important is that it doesn't stop at the planning phase.
Yeah.
The agent should be, should follow up, should check in once in a while, contact a colleague asking how you're doing, do you need
Yeah.
any assistance,
Right.
how can I help, and so on. So that's the ideal picture
Mhm.
we are moving towards.
Very, very, very interesting. And the this works in coordination with the AI Learning Hub. Is that Marina, or is that a separate entity by itself?
No, the AI Learning Hub is something we're compiling right now, working on right now as well.
Okay. Okay.
It's basically a one-stop shop
Yeah.
where you can get all the learning. Now we
Yeah.
talk about learning in a quite narrow sense
Yeah.
um, on AI skills. Those are sets of recommendations based on role, based on skills, based on other things.
Yeah.
Various learning opportunities from books to read to courses to take on the various platforms.
Got it. Makes sense. Okay. And one of the things I noticed is you had some very nice outcome success in L&D at DataArt, right? I mean, you have 20% increase in learning hours per colleague, 16% improvement in employee engagement, 17% increase in completion rates. Could you maybe help us understand what strategy and tactics you employed to get that kind of
Mhm.
outcomes?
Yeah, thank you. That and happens that those changes happen when we established L&D formally, which was around 3.5 years ago. We did have a smaller team taking care of training and education, but yeah, the formal establishment of the team was several years ago, and that's when we saw those improvements and increases in metrics. And I need to, first of all, I'd like to say that I'm a firm believer that people are wired to learn. We do it all the time, and most of us genuinely enjoy it, right? So if that weren't true, we probably wouldn't have evolved the way we did as species. And that's why I think that the job of L&D is not to push people to learn, but to make it easy and natural. Our goal is to increase the kind of to create the kind of environment where learning happens almost invisibly, where colleagues get access to the right resources at the right time and without any friction. So that's one part of the equation, creating the enabling environment. And I'll give examples a bit later. And the other side is about instructional design, actually. We do create learning content, and we do that. It has to be grounded in science. In L&D terms, that means applying the principles of instructional design so that learning is intuitive, it's relevant, and it's easy to absorb. So these two ideas, the enabling environment and science-based design, they guide most of our work. So on the environment side, what we did when we just started, we focused on what colleagues actually asked for. And that was the launch of official mentoring programs, which many people had been waiting for and hoped for. We opened a corporate library, and it's been actively used. We relaunched the ProfDev map, professional development map, as we call it. It's our internal tool that outlines growth paths, skill matrices, and learning resources for that. We provided access to a number of external learning platforms, so we don't have to reinvent the wheel. We simply save time by, using great content that already exists. And in this case, colleagues have access to thousands and thousands of courses, as opposed to what we could have done with our internal resources that would be much more limited. So this that was about the creating the enabling environment. When it comes to the design, we've improved our internal courses by making them shorter, lighter, easier to digest. We use, a variety of formats, not just text, but those are visuals, videos, real world cases, simulation scenarios, and other interactive elements. And all this is based on what we know from science, how our attention works, how our memory works, how adults learn best. This is important to know. And the key insight here is that adults learn best when the content helps them solve their immediate real world problems right here and right now. So we build learning around that, around what helps our colleagues grow as professionals today, not just in theory. And this, to summarize, this dual focus on enabling environment and design has helped us increase, as you mentioned, the number of learning hours per colleague per year, our completion rates, and in general, the overall satisfaction of our colleagues with their learning and professional development related experience inside the company.
Got it. And Maryna, in every technology wave that comes from the internet to mobile to cloud, everything contributes in some way to taking skilling to the next step. And a lot of the solutions that you've explained right now, you've been leveraging all these technologies. What is the next step, do you think, the AI technology wave? Where do you think that's going to take skilling to next?
That's true. Let me reframe it a little bit. So
Sure.
it's a bit of a trick question, Binny.
Yeah.
So I know I'm probably expected to say yes, of course. All the previous technology waves and AI has had its fair share of impact on skills, and
Yeah.
it's all very much different now with AI and so on. But I won't say that at least right now. This is with the AI phenomenon, Gen AI phenomenon, let's call it this way. This is a multi-layered topic, and I would break it down into 3 layers.
So,
The first one is, yes, impact on skills. The second, the psychological state of people. And the third is the perceived risks. And let's start with the first one, with impact on skills. And it might sound unexpected, but if we strip away all the emotions, if we just look at it rationally, I think the impact of AI on skills isn't that different from previous tech waves. When we speak in instructional design words, when we talk about learning, training, we say that we can train or improve or change knowledge, skills, or attitudes. That's the breakdown we use, or a mix of those. So with every technology shift, I think 2 things happen. First, we stop needing some of our old skills because instead of doing certain tasks ourselves, we now just need to know how they're done. Because the actual task is now done by machines. But that knowledge, knowing how it should be done, is still crucial. We needed to give good instructions, in our reality, good prompts, to spot errors or hallucinations in our case, and to decide if the result is acceptable. And this distinction between knowing something and actually being able to do it is important. And let me give an example. For instance, me, I'm a learning professional, and I know very well how a training session should be designed, structured, how facilitation works, how to manage group dynamics. But when I lead training myself on rare occasions, it's hard, and I do make mistakes. And my facilitation skills are, let's say, average. At the same time, I can observe another trainer and give detailed professional feedback because I have the knowledge, even if my hands-on skill is not that polished. So that's the first shift, a big change with tech waves. It's we need less skills, old skills, and more knowledge. And the second change is that, of course, we do need new skills, right? And in the AI case, we need like operator skills and high-level cognitive skills. Those are prompting, critical thinking, analytical thinking. Everybody has been talking about it, and the ability to guide and supervise a smart, complex system. And I think it's similar to what previous generations faced when, for instance, cars or assembly lines came into play. You didn't need to make, for instance, a shoe anymore, right? But you needed to operate the machine and check the final product. You need the knowledge how this final product should look like. So in terms of skill transformation, the AI wave isn't fundamentally different from earlier waves, if you ask me. But I wish it were that simple, but we all know that it's not. And this brings me back to the other 2 points layers that I mentioned about psychological state of mind of people and the perceived risks, right? So fear, resistance, skepticism have always been part of technological shifts. And But with AI, they have grown dramatically.
Yeah.
People have always feared being replaced by machines, and
Hmm.
that fear was there with electricity, with automobiles, with calculators, for instance,
Yeah.
right?
Hmm.
But this time, it's not only about job loss,
Hmm.
it's also about losing control. In previous tech revolutions, humans still felt like they were in charge. At least nowadays, if you look at the past, it seems like it was. With AI, many feel like that this power is slipping away,
Hmm.
through our fingers, and that's what's scary.
Mm.
And even Jeffrey Hinton, the godfather of AI and the Nobel Prize winner,
Hmm.
left Google 2 years ago
Yeah.
because, yeah, we know that, right? Because he wanted to speak freely about the dangers and risks of AI.
Yeah.
And at some point, he's publicly said that some part of him regrets,
Hmm.
regrets his life's work. And
Yeah.
it doesn't exactly inspire optimism in this regard, right?
Yeah.
And we see this manifestations of this, fear resistance and perceived risks in adoption rates. Actually, I just came across Gallup's research, a recent one, where they say that in the U.S., only 4% of employees use Gen AI daily, while
Mm.
67%
Hmm.
never use it at work. Never. If you
Interesting.
think about it, it's in the US, but I think this might be applicable for other parts of the world. So,
Hmm.
despite this growing leadership's optimism and some initiatives and projects,
Hmm.
the actual adoption,
Hmm.
doesn't seem to have changed much since 2023, let's say.
Yeah.
So, going back to your question, just to loop up, Binny, from a skills perspective, AI is a part of a familiar pattern. But in terms, when it comes to people's fears, resistance, and risks, I think this time it's a very different story compared to previous tech waves. Yeah.
Got it. That's very well articulated, especially your point about how we all feel a lack of control. And that's the scariest thing about the whole AI wave. And your point about, Jeffrey Hinton regretting his life's work almost makes it sound like the people who worked
Yeah.
on the atom bomb back in the 40s. So,
Yes,
right.
that's a very good parallel. Totally agree. Yeah.
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 Yeah. So, Marina, one of the things, right, the technology AI, one of the things, at least in L&D, that it can do very well is generate hyper personalized content for a person. Now, as an L&D leader, I would love to understand from you, how important is this hyper personalized content? Sure, the AI can do super personalized content, but from a learning outcome perspective and stuff like that, you mentioned earlier, there's some level of AI already there and course recommendations and stuff like that. But how much more personalization does it really matter? I would love to get your thoughts on that.
Yeah, any learning professional
Hmm.
will tell you if there is a choice, go for personalized content always, as
Mm.
opposed to like one size fits all.
Yeah.
Or more precisely, let's say even let's make it wider, not only content, personalized content. Let's
Hmm.
use the like more personalized learning experience.
Mm.
And
Mm.
this idea is actually a cornerstone of adult learning theory. At the
Hmm.
beginning, I mentioned that
Yeah.
it should be like all learning should be grounded in science. So,
Hmm.
and one of this, more specifically, there is andragogy, a really
Hmm.
powerful adult learning theory that has stood the test of time, really.
Hmm.
And inside our team, we came up with even an acronym to better remember the major principles, and it's credit. So C stands for control. Adult learners prefer control over their learning and don't like being, directed. R stands for relevance. They need to see how learning helps solve their real daily challenges.
Yeah.
E stands for experience because we build new knowledge on top of what we already know. Doing, D stands for doing, and it's simple. We learn best by doing, not by listening or watching, right? I stands for internal because we are driven by internal motivation, for instance, to improve our quality of life, for example.
Yeah.
And T at the end, it's actually the why question. We need to know why we're being asked to invest our precious time in learning. And if these principles are met, the result is deeper engagement and better retention. And if you look closely at the principles I've just mentioned, some of them actually boil down to personalization, especially the relevance example.
Right.
Adults learn best when the content addresses their specific needs, pain points right here and right now. I want to learn something, and then I want to go back to work and fix the problems with the knowledge and skills that I have just learned.
Right.
And that's what once the topic of this conversation in general AI, it would make sense to again give us an example. This AI powered learning assistance. So at first we had AI powered course recommendations, but I guess this is something that's gonna soon stay in the past, but was quite revolutionary some time ago, right? Now we have more advanced learning paths, personalized ones. It was done for a reason, really. That's how the companies using the resources and technical, opportunities that they could, they try to, personalize learning as much as possible, just for the reasons that I've mentioned, because that's how we learn much better as grown-ups. And and that's why we're working on this Gen AI, learning agent that will ideally outline a comprehensive, very customized learning and development experience based on the colleague's background and on the business needs.
Yeah, makes sense. And given your own experience in kind of content development and instruction design, Maryna, so traditionally the way content was created is there's a central team that makes the content. There's a single source of truth. Everybody goes and accesses it. Do you think very soon we'll move away from that model to content is generated at the point of need, at the team members' point of? Do you think we'll move into that model very soon?
Where we are now, I would say, is that first of all, I would like to, share some probably pain looking at what's happening with content creation right now. And the ideal picture, how I see it's going to be quite soon, answering the question, right? So the impact is massive. The content creation is probably the number one area most visibly impacted by Gen AI. And you don't have to be an expert to notice that, right? It's everywhere around us in personal and professional lives. If to take our personal spaces, social media, you can clearly see that shift. There's more generic impersonal content and fewer authentic ideas, maybe, or tone of voice. And that, in my view, actually goes back to what I have previously said about the skill of operating Gen AI tools. It is possible to create those warm, authentic posts, for instance, or content with AI, but we're still learning how to do that. And in professional contexts, especially where content creation is part of the job, the impact is even greater, right? But there is always but. it is not as straightforward as it may
Mm-hmm.
seem.
Mm-hmm.
Gen AI indeed assists with content creation. It, writes, produces entire drafts and everything.
Yeah.
But still, what we see is that most of the work still rests on the human side.
Mm-hmm.
It's not 90% AI and 10% human breakdown, as many people assume or expect and would love to see.
Mm-hmm.
And I can almost hear probably my content creating colleagues applauding me right now for saying this, probably.
Mm-hmm.
Because what we have been hearing more and more frequently is something like, well, I used ChatGPT. It took me a minute to create this test, a video, and a whole course. Why is it taking you so long? Like not 1 minute or 15 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And my response here is that if quality and the effectiveness are not priority, then
Mm-hmm.
sure, you can spend 5% of your usual workload, of your
Mm-hmm.
usual effort,
Mm-hmm.
get something from ChatGPT, hit publish and be done.
Mm-hmm.
But the keyword here is something,
Yeah.
right? You that's not the best thing that you will probably end up having.
Mm-hmm.
In reality, based on our team's experience and what I hear when I talk to colleagues from other companies, currently Gen AI saves about 30% of time on average for
Mm-hmm.
content creation, but
Mm-hmm.
it's not 90 and not even 50 yet.
Got it.
But of course, still 30% is a
30
huge
is
number,
big.
and it's big. And my point here is that just to get expectations right. So it's not everything. Gen AI is doing everything for you, right? We're not there yet. And that goes to your question then. That's when we do it the old way of working. And by old, I mean the traditional instructional design process when you interview stakeholders, you do needs analysis, research, then content development, feedback rounds, and everything. But we're on the edge of a new era in training content creation. And here's how it, I think, very soon will look like. You tell an AI agent, an L&D AI agent, create a 10-minute course to help our client-facing colleagues sell our new service. The agent then gets a bit more input about the target audience, the messaging, and so on, reaches out to subject matter experts, records their insights. It can be in text, in videos, in podcasts, anything. Pulls together existing materials, builds the course, and sends it for review to an instructional designer. And then instructional designer reviews. They can say, let's fine tune this part. The AI agent revises this part of the course, and once it's approved, the agent publishes it in the LMS, ideally sends out communications, monitors enrollments, other activities, reports back on the engagement and outcomes. And I truly believe that's where we're heading nowadays. And at DataArt, actually, as I've mentioned, we have made AI adoption our strategic priority, from improving internal efficiency to enhancing client solutions. And internally, we have already launched AI-powered tools like Global Help Desk for all colleagues or Pre-Sales Hub for business people, and my favorite AI code reviewer called Cody, which reviews code that's submitted by learners as part of their assignments inside our courses. This is to name a few. And some of such tools are part of our bigger AI platform. And externally, we offer AI accelerated software development and AI solutions. And actually, we have already been offering similar AI content creation agents to our clients. So it's natural that we now plan to bring the same capability in-house. And just this week, with our EdTech practice, we decided to finally move forward and toward building out our own course creation agent, ideally what I have just described. And that's when I expect to see this real acceleration in content development. And I think it's very close.
That's fascinating. I think we just got a glimpse into the future with what you just described with that AI course creation. It's almost like a vibe coding for course creation, kind of an interactive, an underlying agent that's probably pre-trained in the ADDIE model, and then you're interacting with it to do a course.
The future is now, right? They say.
Future is now. Yeah. Very, very interesting. The other thing, Maryna, is that for people who are coming out of college, getting into work, what kind of career guidance and advice would you give them?
That's easy. Be curious and keep learning. And if to elaborate a bit on what I mean is that I like referring to the World Economic Forum's report called Future of Jobs report. They publish it every 2 years, I think. So the one they published, they survey hundreds of companies across many industries all over the world. And as one of the key parts of this report, they identify top 5 skills that employers want to see in their employees, regardless of the in that industry specific skills, if not to talk about it. So, and they don't change much over year over year. So, number 1 skill, it's analytical thinking. That's what employers want to see. Number 2, it's resilience, agility, and flexibility. Number 3, it's leadership. Number 4, it's creative thinking, surprisingly, maybe for some. And number 5 is motivation and self-awareness. Interestingly, that this year AI and data are not on this list. They ranked number 11 as far as I remember, but I'm sure that in the next report they will make it to this top 5 skills. So the skills change very fast. You may have not think about it, have not thought about it, but they have lifespans as well, just like many things. And nowadays, the average lifespan of a skill is from 3 to 5 years. And almost half of core skills will look very different in 5 years. Just think about your own role, or whoever is listening to us right now, right? How much your role, your required skills changed in the past few years. And I'm sure they have, right? And in digital fields, skills change even faster. So my advice is, don't rely on one skill or technology. Develop your ability to learn, adapt, and think critically and analytically. And technologies come and go, but your mindset and curiosity will keep you relevant. And will keep you relevant and ready to whatever the world brings for us next.
Very well said. I'm sure that's very valuable to freshers coming out of college. And as a last point, Maryna, you spoke quite a bit about, as part of the credit, you spoke about the whole relevance bit. And then you also spoke about how in the adult learning theory, we like to learn stuff that is in the flow of work instead of learning as an event where you have to go to. Could you maybe help us understand in which job roles is this learning in the flow of work most relevant, and some examples of that?
It's relevant everywhere. For any job, definitely. So if, again, any learning professional will give exactly the same answer. So learning, if we have to choose and decide, learning in the flow of work or training as a separate event, then learning in the flow of work is the clear winner here, definitely. But before I get into the why and how, let me defend learning as an event a bit. It is maybe not the best, the most effective approach, but
Yeah.
it still has its place for several reasons. For instance, first, it's often, at least nowadays, it's often more cost effective to train a group, a whole group at once.
True.
Also, there is few people think about it, but what we have noticed in our company, it's training. There's a huge team building effect when the whole team learns together.
Sure.
And that's what we do, actually. We have a whole track. There is a colleague who is driving this direction. Their completion rates are much higher. The engagement, and they're as opposed to getting a group of random people from all over the company. If you train a team, the training effect is multiplied. And also, let's not underestimate this value of informal networking during training breaks and when the training is over, right? Those water cooler conversations, coffee talks, and everything. This is huge and this is important.
Yeah.
But still, if to focus strictly on the effectiveness of learning itself, then yes, learning in the flow of work is definitely more powerful and effective. And again, like you already mentioned, the reason once again comes back to andragogy, because that's just how we learn when the content is relevant and it helps us solve real challenges in real time. That's what we call, right? Mentoring, coaching, job aids are considered to be those learning in the flow of work methods and examples. But if to be completely honest, that's pretty much it. It's difficult. That's why this training as separate events is currently so popular, because it's again the reasons I mentioned. It's just easier to organize and cheaper currently. But again, that's where AI comes in again. And that's something we're not working on right now, but it's somewhere, that's what we dream about at some point. And to give you an example, right, for how it can be implemented for different roles. We're an IT company, so I'll give an IT example. Imagine this. A software engineer is writing the code, makes a mistake, or makes similar repeating mistakes that are similar in logic, for instance.
Yeah.
And an AI agent pops up and says, for instance, "Hey, John, I noticed this issue. Here's how it should be done. And here's why. If you want to dive deeper, here is a short video or like a piece of text, an article for you that explains more." And that's literally in the flow of work. So you keep on making mistakes, then someone in real time explains very briefly, microlearning, how it should be done, why it's not working this way. And if you want to, dive deeper, here you go. So yeah, that's something I hope we will also have at some point. In our learning experience inside the company and in general. And you can apply it for any role. Let's say a sales representative having conversations with clients, and then somewhere that in a hidden place on the screen or on their phone, this AI agent starts knocking and saying, "Yeah, this is not how exactly it should be done here.
Don't say
what
this.
You should have said, and here's why, and here's when you can learn more."
No, that's a fantastic answer. I mean, not only because of the flow of work points that you mentioned, but also the reasons you gave for why the event as a learning, the benefits of that. I never considered that, but those are very valid benefits. The networking, it's cheaper, people learn better in groups, and that's a great, those are great points.
So there are pros and cons everywhere. So
Okay. Awesome. This has been fantastic, Maryna. Thank you so much for giving us your insights.
Thank you very much. I enjoyed answering all these questions. They are so actual, and what we have on our plate, many companies right now, right?
I'm glad.
Thank
I'm
you.
glad you. Thank you. You're welcome.